Job Vlog.
So I finally saw Neon Genesis Evangelion, and it was the Netflix version. And you know what? I really enjoyed this. I want to say second favorite anime series behind Cowboy Bebop. But this was my first exposure to it, so I can really only comment on what Netflix has provided. Neon Genesis Evangelion tells the story of Shinji, the third children, or rather second pilot, of the Evangelion, let's call it giant robot. I'm going to not go into spoilers here. Designed to defend Earth from the angels being these creatures from space, which have various means to blow shit up. All of this goes down in Tokyo 3, a metropolis which has skyscrapers that can retract into a dome below the surface covered in armor and, keep everything safe, but somehow it looks like everything gets wrecked and yet they're able to rebuild quickly between battles. Shinji is an incredibly weeaboo character. This guy lacks self-confidence, has some daddy issues. In fact, his dad, Gendo Ikari, is the leader of NERV. Is that how you say it? This special operations group which makes for these Eva things to be piloted by teenagers. I guess that's what's required, and he's by no means a volunteer. Shinji attends school as well as works with fellow Eva pilots. There's Rei, who's described as a doll or Miss Perfect. She doesn't emote a whole hell of a lot. And to make up for this, there's Asuka, a half German chick, super confident, wants to show off and prove herself to everybody. Hot. The only Eva pilot eager for combat. These three work together more or less under the watchful eyes of Miss Misato, the commander of operations at NERV. And every character has a unique backstory with several layers. You really grow to love them as the series unfolds. I found it quite refreshing also that the angels attack in a different way each time. It never gets repetitive. Maybe one wants to drill. Maybe one's can multiply itself. Maybe they have a virus. Maybe there's some other saboteur means. The series tells a very intriguing story, and I was always looking forward to more, and that's really the best way you can go about it. Because like Cowboy Bebop, you get one season, maybe some movies afterwards, which I'm gonna have to view later. That said, episode 24 seems a little bit fillerish, maybe? I mean, sometimes we look back at some aspects and learn more about characters, but come on, you introduce a throwaway guy that we're supposed to care about all of a sudden? And then the last two, it really goes off the rails. Deep dive into introspective bullshit. I guess I'm going to have to clear things up with whatever we got coming after this, as I really hope that returns to actual action that takes place in reality. Being from 1995, Neon Genesis Evangelion is a traditional anime. That means they actually had to draw shit out, and I much prefer this over the newer style of, how cheap can we do this? Oh, I know, digital. Let's all get out our paint fill tool and go ahead and make some big swaths of solid colors with no tone, no highlights, just how can we do this as quickly as possible? And for that reason, I think I prefer 80s and 90s anime. I'm by no means an anime expert, but I just like the effort put into those shows and movies. Netflix has been so eager to get this into your streaming catalog. If you remember back, 2015, Knights of Sidonia arrives, and that is Netflix's first anime original, as they called it. Well, actually, they had the streaming rights, but it was an enjoyable show. I liked it at the time. It only lasted 2 seasons here. It was also a complete ripoff of Neon Genesis Evangelion, only I didn't realize that at the time. So what was the holdup? Well, you have some music rights issues, as seen by cutting Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon in the end credits of each episode. You also have total localization rework, new translation, new voice actors. Because you can't be bothered to pay the originals, right? You don't want to get into that quagmire that is royalties and working out new deals. Well, for my money, I thought this was a great dub. And no, I'm not one of those purists who wants to read English subtitles while I hear Japanese and have to try to watch robots fight creatures. That is not how any media is designed to be viewed. The director of this localization team is Kari Karenin, probably saying that wrong. She's also the voice of Miss Misato. Stephanie McKean is an adorable Asuka, and yeah, I know she can be a bit of a brat, but I don't care. But more telling, Casey Mungillo is the new Shinji. And this may cause some issues with you guys. See, in Japan, Shinji is a cis female voicing a male. In America, cis male voicing a male. But in our new Netflix dub, we have a trans male voicing Shinji. And now some of you may be concerned, oh well, in the old one, it was like there was a character that and Shinji felt love. Is Shinji gay? Am I getting into spoilers? Not so much, really. I'm not going to say too much about this. But maybe it opens up a new interpretation of it, because they did change some word to like, and I thought that was entirely okay with me. But interpreting a word as I like you or I love you, it doesn't make a difference to me. Look at the way teenagers talk about like. Hey, who do you like? Oh no, I don't want her to know that I like her. So how about we not have a fit over it and just enjoy the fact that we finally got this streaming? What are your thoughts on Netflix's interpretation of Neon Genesis Evangelion? Comment below and you could win absolutely nothing. So we're at the part of the video where I have to beg you to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell, because subscribe doesn't really account to anything other than YouTube might someday send me a plaque.